If you already run a Pokemon card business, or if you want to start running your very own Pokemon card business, here's how I use singles and grading to really boost my business's cash flow and build capital for my Pokemon card business. I'm Rodrigo with Kanto PKM, but you can just call me Roddy, and I've done hundreds of orders on various platforms selling Pokemon cards. And the one thing I have realized running my small business is I need consistency. And by consistency, I mean a consistent cash flow going into my business. I tend to buy a lot of sealed product and now even singles and sometimes slabs, and having cash coming in is just as important as having cash going out. And while I do primarily tend to focus on sealed product, singles and slabs really do help me. Singles, just go on TCGPlayer, they sell super quick. I buy for 70%, and after fees, I might be at 85% on TCGPlayer, maybe 90% if I'm pricing something a little bit above market price, and it'll still sell because of free shipping. Slabs are really good for getting high margins. Yeah, you have to wait a couple months to get it through PSA, and I'll get into why PSA of all the companies out there. But it's the highest return on investment, especially if you're looking for long-term, not even long-term, short-term gains in just grading slabs. And shows, of course, are really good because you can sell stuff, even give a discount on a lot of stuff, give a discount off of market, and still make a nice buck. But the best part about shows is the fact that you can trade for product at a percentage, and you can buy product at a percentage, and it's way easier because people will go to you instead of you going to them. Now, you have to understand that when you're buying a collection, you are never guaranteed a card being gradable. Keep in mind, I'm saying gradable because gradable and Gen Mint are two different things. A gradable card is a card where if you send it into PSA, it'll still come back profitable. It doesn't have to be a 10. Like a lot of vintage stuff, if you buy it at market and it gets a 9 when it comes back, you're still up like $100 minus the grading fee, which isn't bad. But you need to understand that in any collection you're buying, you could get 0, you can get 100 gradable cards. It's really just a gamble, and that's why you need a way to get rid of all the extra cards. The way I do it is I'll buy a collection, sealed and singles. I'll take the singles to the side, and I'll see, hey, what in here is gradable? What in here do I think could get a high grade? And I review what's actually worth sending, and I get a PSA submission ready. And then all the rest of the stuff just goes on TCGPlayer. I have it all automated, so I do charge slightly above market price. Then again, I do have free shipping. Guys, whenever you hear free shipping, you're paying for the shipping. It's just not included additionally. It's in the original price. I do free shipping on TCGPlayer just so I can be more competitive. And honestly, a good majority of the cards I list on TCGPlayer go pretty fast. And the stuff that doesn't is usually higher end stuff, like I'd say about $25 and above. And that's just because a lot of people, if it's not a playable card, they want to see the card in person. They want to make sure, oh, this card is actually near mint, and they don't want to risk their $25 up dollars. Some people do, but they'll usually go to the lowest list, and I'd rather just sell those at a show or trade them for sealed product. But of course, while you're here, the grading. Like I said, you don't need to grade everything to get a 10. There are plenty of cards that are profitable at a 9, an 8, sometimes even a 7. All you need to do is make sure, you're profiting off of it, and make sure your pre-grading kind of aligns with the profit you want to be at. And of course, you do have to send stuff with PSA. I know, there's so many other companies. Me personally, I don't really like PSA's practices at the moment, but it's just a matter of fact that if you want to grade cards and get the most resale value out of them, PSA. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll come back to this video in 12 months and that'll be different. Maybe it'll be Tag. Maybe it'll be Beckett. Granted, Beckett is owned by the same people as PSA, but it might be a whole different company in 12 months. Hopefully, practices get better as the hobby kind of settles down. But the most important part, in my opinion, is to not rely on PSA. If your business cannot, keep running without the constant inflow, or the constant flow of PSA 10s coming back your way, reconsider your business model. Because for all you know, PSA could just hate you for 3 months straight, and 3 months of submissions, come back with a bunch of 9s, 8s. You might just be breaking even. You might even be losing money on the entire submission. Losing $10 here, $10 there, maybe a $20 profit. think big picture. Because at least for me, the grand scheme of things in terms of my website, my business as an online personality, I guess, is sealed stuff goes on my site. I want to focus on my website, cantopkm.com. Shameless plug, by the way. I want to focus on selling sealed products there, whether it be Japanese, English. I'm trying to get into Chinese. I just need to find the right guy to sell me stuff that's not tampered with. I'd hate to sell tampered with stuff. I'd lose my mind. I'd be so upset at like everything. But I'm just trying to expand my website as much as possible. eBay is pretty good for just setting up auctions and 10 days max, I'll have some money in. Even if it's, 5% less than what I expected market would be, 10% less even. A lot of the cards I'm sending in are cards I know, hey, even if this sells for, let's say 60% market on eBay, after fees, I'll still be making money. So it's a win-win regardless. Luckily, stuff almost never sells below 90% market on eBay, unless it's just a highly volatile market, which of course should be part of your thinking when you're sending in cards to get graded, to see if it's actually worth it, and if long-term you're going to make money after waiting 4 or 5 months to PSA to return your card. But the high influx of slabs and singles that I'll have from buying these collections is really useful for another thing, attending card shows. Essentially, this is like a little side hustle thing I can have going alongside my business at card shows. Whenever I go to card shows, my main goal has been to buy. As a vendor, buy. Because where else do you just have the expectation to be selling to some random guy at a percentage? People will come to you looking to sell or trade their stuff. Trade more likely if you have, kind of stuff that's nice, but then again, they're probably trading the stuff that's not that nice. So you can consider what you want to do for trading, but buy. That's the main benefit of these card shows. I mean, you could have a guy that comes up to your table or comes up to your booth that you paid $80 for. Only do like local events. If I see you guys starting off at Collectathon, don't message me asking why your business is failing. It's because you're spending $1,500 for a table. We could spend $80 in Tracy, California, and get popping card shows. I mean, the card show I went to, dude, I spent a bunch of money like just walking around because it was that good of a show. It was like, what the heck? But let's say you buy a collection. What I'm doing right now, I'll buy a collection, all the sealed stuff on my site. It's back there. You can see it back there. All the sealed stuff back there. The cards, some stuff gets picked out because it's gradable. I picked up this recently. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Pichu Neo 2 promo, I believe. Awesome card. It's marked to about 30. It's super, super clean. And a 10, $300. And it's still profitable in a 9. And I think I'm breaking even on an 8. All my other singles, they go on TCGPlayer, and I have them marked up because I really do not want my higher end cards to sell on TCGPlayer. A, because I'll have to pay more for shipping because it's $50 and up, you're paying tracking, and that's not worth it if you're selling a card for exactly $50. And whenever I sell these lower end cards, I'm typically making a higher margin because people will sell their lower end cards just 70%, give them a number, they'll take it, whatever. But these higher end cards, I kind of do want to hold on to for when I go to do shows, because those cards are typically more desirable and people will tend to trade a lot more often, hopefully for sealed product. But there are so many mistakes that you can do while trying to kind of boost your business using PSA grading and selling singles. The biggest thing is forcing PSA submissions. If you truly do not have any cards, because I tend to do one PSA submission every month. If I don't have cards, once every 2 months, but once a month. If you do not have the cards to send a PSA submission and confidently believe when you get it back, it'll be worth more than when it came out, plus it'll be worth the time it spent there, wait off on it. It's going to take forever to get back anyways. The last thing you want is for it to get back and you lose money. You might as well wait an extra month. Their PSA is going to take an extra month on their own anyways. Who cares? Do not just send stuff because, I need to send something this month. It should be the exact opposite mindset. You should be sending in stuff because you have it and you want to throw in extra stuff because what if it tens? Because, there's some potential for a card you break even on a 9 to still 10, even if you think it'll grade a 9. So, every now and then, I'll throw in cards that I think are going to 9. And I've had some 10s from that, which has really boosted my confidence in, like, what I should actually grade. And it's really let me hone in that skill, because it is a skill. Pre-grading is a skill to do it long term. And of course, the second biggest thing, especially if you're buying bulk or larger, like, single, like, card collections, getting it all listed. Getting it all listed is the second most important thing you can do, because it's okay if your card just sits in a bulk box for a couple months. That's whatever, right? Worst case, it goes down $1 or $2. Best case, it appreciates, and when it does sell, it sells for more. But the last thing you want is for it to be sitting in a pile on your desk doing nothing. Not getting sent to PSA, not getting, at least holding onto it until you get a decent submission size going. Or not listing it on TCGPlayer, not selling it at card shows, just keeping it. Not even for your personal collection, because you want to sell it, you're just being lazy. Have your money doing something at all times, and at some point, your cards are an extension of your money. So have your cards doing something at all time. And of course, stay organized. If you're selling bulk, if you're not organized, don't do it. My room's a mess. My bulk box is so freaking clean. Any card of any set in Scarlet Violet era, tell me what it is, I can pick it out right now. That is how organized my bulk box is. It will take me maybe 10 seconds max. I even have spreadsheets for seeing how much I'm making off PSA submissions. And it's not hard. You can just ask ChatGPT to design you a spreadsheet, and then you go to sheets.google.com, Google Sheets, it's free, and you make a spreadsheet. And you can do like all the functions, so where you put how much you spend and stuff, and at the very end it tells you, oh, you spent this much, your card is worth this much, you profited this much. You put in how many fees you paid, whether you're selling on eBay or you're selling it on your site and you're paying the 3% credit card fee, or you're vending at shows and you paid no fee. You put in the number and it'll just do it all automated. You have to do that type of stuff. And if you don't enjoy doing that type of stuff, you will never get this at a larger scale. And quite frankly, I do not believe that grading PSA cards is infinitely scalable the same way that selling sealed Pokemon product is. I am very much aware that I am using it to inject capital into my main business, selling sealed product on my site, CantoPKM.com. Would it be sustainable over a longer period of time? Yeah, but at some point, would it really be worth the time I'm taking out of my day to do that, rather than growing my personal brand on my personal site? Up to debate. But at least for now and for the foreseeable future, I'll keep doing it. And if you run like an LGS or something, if you're not doing singles, you're doing it wrong, right? So just ignore that last tidbit of advice if you're running a physical game store, grading and sourcing your own singles. But if you had to decide for your own Pokemon card business, would you would you do grading? Would you do singles? Would you sell bulk? What would you sell apart from selling sealed? Because everybody wants to sell sealed. Not everybody has the money for sealed. Of course, like I said, do not rely on PSA grading. Do not rely on another company very well known for, not making the best decisions at times to just build your whole business. It is a benefit, but it should not be the only pillar you're building your business on. If this video helped you at all in deciding if you want to start your Pokemon business, how you want to run your business, drop a like. And if you want to stick along to the Pokemon card journey, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you know when I upload next. I always love talking Pokemon business to my Pokemon business people. That's you guys, by the way. And of course, you want sealed Pokemon cards? Check out my site, CantoPKM.com. Worst case, get some inspiration from my site, CantoPKM.com. Have a nice day, guys.